Hey guys, what's up? Not a whole lot with me, so I'm sure by now you've seen how short this video is, but you asked for it. The consensus when I had asked if you would rather see more frequent but shorter uploads or less frequent but longer episodes was that you would like to see them more frequently. So here I am. In case you don't know me, my name is Beth, also known as PandemicKnittr, and you'll find my information for other places on the internet up here. And I am a knitter from the north suburbs of Chicago, and I'm also a paraprofessional by day. This week I have done very little because, as you may have seen in my last video, I was a little under the weather this week. I had a little bout of laryngitis with some coughing and other but fortunately I tested negative for that big bad one that's been around. Anyhow, speaking of which, this week I saw somebody on a podcast, and this person was a guest on the podcast, and they were talking about their own podcast where I don't remember what he called them, but his own followers, he gave them some kind of name. Like, you know how Adele has like her little monsters or something like that? I think PandemicKnittr needs a name for her followers. I need to call you guys something so that when I come on, I can say, hey, sickos, or whatever we decide. So if you have any ideas, I would love for you to comment below with what you want to be called as my followers. Now, I realize that a very large portion of the people out there in the world, well, at least in America, have been vaccinated against the current thing. And even though that's the case, I feel like if I'm calling myself PandemicKnittr, we need a pandemic name. So, I mean, sickos, I identify with that. Infected, something along those lines. So, help me out. Find something that I can call you and something you don't mind being called. Anyway, enough with the nonsense. What am I wearing? I am wearing today a poncho that was designed by Cathy Lewis of Tall Tree Designs. I test knit this for her back in 2020 when I first started knitting. The design, the pattern is called Spokes Poncho, and I made this from Suburban Stitcher yarn. Any of you who saw my introduction video, of which I would like to make a new one, but I digress. Suburban Stitcher was the first podcaster that I saw on YouTube. So when I found a project that I wanted to work on, I thought, this is my opportunity to get some yarn from Suburban Stitcher, the one that I've been following for all this time. So this yarn is in her sock base. I don't remember the blue color. It's a lovely speckly turquoise. Turquoise is one of my very favorite colors. And there is a lavendery color in here that is what I used as the background for the color work in the center of my Nomad tee, and that colorway is called Starstruck. So that is Spokes Poncho by Cathy Lewis of Tall Tree Designs. And I'm thinking I bought another poncho pattern from her that I'm thinking, if any of you saw my episode in Wyoming where I had started the new t-shirt that I was going to do a fade with, it was called Faded Frenzy. I had bought this road trip yarn that there was a trunk show at the yarn shop that I was there, and I'm thinking those colors would be really good in this poncho that she has. It's a lacy poncho, and it's got like a cowl neck, and it's really cool looking, and I want to do that one. And I think that one is fingering weight held double, so it'll go quicker, which is something I love. Anyway, Spokes Poncho, Cathy, Tall Tree Designs, that's that. And the only other thing I have is the one whip that I have been working on most, which is my cardigan from Rowan magazine number 71 called Free, and it's by VB Ulrik, and it is in Rowan cotton cashmere in the Colorway Seed. And I am still working on the sleeves, and that is all I have to do on this until I finish. There is one cable that I talked about wanting to fix. I haven't gotten around to doing that yet, but this is as far as I've gotten on the sleeves. I'm doing them 2 at a time, so they're both pretty much the same length. I am planning to do full length sleeves, even though the design is like a 3/4 sleeve. I like full length sleeves, so that's what I'm going to do with this. And there's one correction that I want to make about something I said last week. Last week, I had said that the cable for the sleeves was reversed from the way that the picture shows, that the chart was reversed, and that now these V's are going this way, and in the picture they go this way. But I was wrong. I looked at the chart again. I'm doing them wrong. But as I said in last week's video, I really don't care. I mean, it's gonna be a beautiful sweater regardless. I am so thrilled with how this thing looks. And as far as, you know, which way a cable goes, I don't think anybody is gonna look at my sleeves and say, whoa, you really messed that up. So I'm fine with that. So the other thing that took away from my knitting time this week was that I decided this room needed some organizing. You can't see what lurks behind all of the camera stuff. There is a table right here underneath behind you guys, where there's yarn all over it. In fact, there was a lot more yarn earlier this week that was all over this table. And there's actually yarn all over this room. It was a disaster. And after cleaning up, it's still a disaster. But it's less of a disaster because what I did actually is, I don't know that I've ever said this, but this room used to be my oldest son's bedroom. And the furniture in it was the bedroom furniture that he used when he was here. In fact, it is my bedroom furniture from when I was a kid. So it has been around since 1978. Anyway, I had been keeping all the leftover yarn from any projects that I did, such as this one. In the, you can't even see it here. This right here is the nightstand. There's, oh, you can see the hat. The hat that was used last week it's still full of names. The winner's name is no longer in it. I was trying to tell that I use my phone to record. I was trying to tell, what am I seeing on there? Anyway, so that nightstand drawer has all the leftovers from the projects that I've done. So I've just kind of used that as a dumping ground. And with all of the skeins of yarn that I had, not skeins, not full skeins, but like partial skeins that were also here, I decided, okay, this needs to be consolidated. It needs to be put in an orderly way. Otherwise, I'm never going to know what I have. So I decided to take all of the yarn out of that drawer and cake it up as neatly as possible. Most of them I still have their ball bands from, so I still know what's what, because knowing me, I haven't put it all in Ravelry with a project that I did. So, I mean, that is one way that I could, like, if I looked at a yarn and went, what did I use this for? I can go through Ravelry and, you know, look at the pictures of my projects and be like, oh yeah. But I like to keep the ball bands just to not have to go to that. Anyway, so I caked up all this yarn, and that's another thing that took away from my knitting time. I caked it all up. I divided it out by weights. So I have all my fingering weight yarn I put back in this drawer. There's quite a bit of it. And then over here, there's a dresser, and it's got 9 drawers in it, and I just used the top 6 of them. And there's DK weight, worsted weight, and sport weight in those 3 drawers. I don't have any bulky. You know what? I do have bulky, but it's acrylic. So I also have a drawer full of acrylic yarn. And then I have notions in another drawer. And then this cabinet right here, this has all of my unused yarn, and it is jam-packed. Like, you know, I open it up and things start falling out. So not a good thing. But what I would say is that doing this made me realize how much yarn I actually have, and that I think it's time to start wearing that down some, to just, instead of keep buying more and more, I need to start working on the projects that all of these things were planned for. And, you know, it even prompted me to go to my husband and say, I think I need to go on a yarn diet. So that's the plan for the time being. I do still have my Advent kits coming, so I'm excited about that, but I gotta get knitting. I gotta get this stuff out of here and into this kind of thing. So that's the plan, and I'm excited about getting that done. I don't know how long that's gonna take. Forever, maybe? And even, you know how I said, like, I have all this divided up into these different weights, and all the new skeins are in here. That's not all the new skeins, because some of them are just in bags and boxes around the room, because I had put them into a project bag to do a project, or, you know, I had put them together with the pattern that I wanted to make with them. So it's a lot, you guys. it's daunting. And then there was something else I wanted to talk about. What else was it? I don't know. It's getting to be fall. I'm excited about wearing my knitwear. I can wear this to school on a day that's not a downpour like today is. It's in the 60s today, and there's a window right there. That's why I'm looking away from you guys, looking out the window at the wet, dreary day. But I'm really excited about all of this rain because I planted some bell peppers earlier this year, and they're really starting. Like, I have one bush that is like falling over. It has so many peppers on it. And I have another one that, like, I have one that it said it was a green bell pepper, but I thought all peppers, if you left them long enough, would turn a color. I could be wrong about that. But the one that's the green pepper one, that's the one that's like, boom, peppers everywhere. And the one that's a red bell pepper, that has one that is turning, and it's like to the orange level the last time I looked, and I'm waiting for it to get a nice bright red so I can have the sweetest bell pepper I've ever eaten, I hope. And there are other peppers that are growing on that. They're just kind of small still and green, so I'm hoping that I get some more out of that before the frost comes this year, because here in northern Illinois, it comes soon. And I know from, I watch some gardening YouTubers too. And I know from watching them, they talk about how peppers are not frost resistant. So you do not want to have your pepper plants still out there when the frost comes, or you want to cover them with something that's going to protect them from the frost. So hopefully I can do that. I don't know. I love fresh things from the garden. Have you guys ever like grown anything that you've gotten in your garden and you thought, wow, I never knew these could taste so good? I'm specifically thinking about tomatoes. Like tomatoes, the only time that I have ever just eaten like raw tomato is when it's come from my garden, because it has such a fresh flavor. It is so different from a store-bought tomato. The one YouTuber that I watch most, who is a homesteader, is Roots and Refuge. And she always says that store-bought tomatoes taste like disappointment. And it's so true, because, I mean, they're fine on a sandwich, or in a salad. But if you just want to eat tomato, you gotta have a homegrown tomato. Anyway, I guess I've turned into a gardening YouTube channel too now. So please enjoy your week, and happy knitting to you. I will see you next time. Oh, and remember, tell me what you want to be called below. Bye.